Meet Simon, not the red barrel you see, but the man inside the red barrel. He suffers from Asperger's syndrome, which makes it difficult for him to have normal social interaction or understand nonverbal communication. Whenever he has had enough, he would often shut himself in the vessel and imagine himself in space. Why space? Because space is free from any feelings or chaos. But his 8-hour journey to find perspective in space is interrupted by his mother, who wants him immediately to come out of that barrel. Her blood pressure is off the charts, which is when Simon's father has to step in. He tries bribing Simon to come out, but when that doesn't work, his mother brings out the ultimate weapon, Sam. Sam is Simon's elder brother, and he's helping his girlfriend, Freda, renovate their home when he gets a call from his mom, explaining the situation. Freda nudges Sam to go, and Sam reluctantly agrees to go home and talk to Simon. He returns home to find his dad has emptied his wallet, trying to bribe Simon to come out. Sam knows exactly what to do, and pretends to be a scientist trying to contact Simon from Earth. The trick works, and Simon responds positively. Sam continues role-playing and asks Simon to land, as the coast is clear. However, Simon is not willing to come out until Sam eliminates their parents. Seeing no way out, Sam carries the barrel back to his place, much to Freda's chagrin. Once inside, Freda asks Sam to come out and opens the lid, which is met with extreme resistance and a lot of screaming, which forces her to put the lid back. Sam knows if the three will be living together, it is imperative that Simon understands he has to adjust with Freda. Sam is not going to compromise giving up on either of them. He tells Sam they are like equations. If one goes, there will be an imbalance. Simon probably understands, because it is not that he's dumb. He just doesn't like change, and wants things to remain the same. And since he likes Sam and Sam likes Freda, Simon understands he needs to set the equation right. As he starts living with Sam and Freda, he has scheduled their activities in such a way that it doesn't change anything while keeping things simple, even if it means walking in on Freda taking a shower, just because it is Simon's time to take a shower. Simon generally prefers circles and likes most things in that shape, like his sandwiches, watch, and badge that reads "Don't touch me." Every day, the trio goes through the same routine without any hitch. After breakfast, Sam drops Simon at his workplace, and today is usual, except while walking at an intersection, a woman runs into Simon, making him drop the books. She starts apologizing profoundly, and as she tries to help him pick up the books, Simon slaps her for grabbing his arm. He nonchalantly explains he has Asperger's syndrome, due to which he doesn't like being touched. He works as a groundskeeper in a special program for differently able people, tending athletic fields and roadsides. Simon doesn't have any friends, because he believes feelings create a lot of problems. For instance, his co-worker Peter likes Jana, another co-worker, and tries very hard to impress her. However, Jana doesn't like Peter, she likes Bjorn, who likes nothing but laughing. He would spend hours practicing different laughs that would fit him well. Because it creates a classic love triangle, and Simon doesn't like either triangle or chaos, he keeps his distance from such situations. However, Simon loves to read, and can often be seen carrying loads of books. He also has different foods for every day. On Mondays, he has sausage and pasta, Tuesdays are pancakes, Wednesdays are melts, Thursdays are potato pancakes, Fridays are tacos, Saturday is pizza, and Sunday is reserved for Sam's zucchini special. They have also divided the tasks among themselves. While Sam cooks, Simon sets and clears the table, and Freda does the dishes. But sometimes, just sometimes, Sam and Freda would ditch the routine and play basketball while Simon is busy with his usual drum practice. But he can't let them have all the fun alone, so he would join them, and would take all the penalty shoots without giving either Sam or Freda a chance to play. But when his alarm goes off, he moves to the next task just like a robot. It is movie night, and for the umpteenth time, they're watching a space movie that nobody wants to see. So Freda leaves to watch TV in her room, and Sam follows, but to keep Simon's heart, he says he would have loved to watch the space movie with him. That night, Sam and Freda are doing the hormone dance when Simon walks in and stands there in the dark, looking at them, until Freda notices his presence. They are dumbfounded when Simon asks for toilet paper, and Freda gives him a much-deserved, "Get out." This leads to tension between Sam and Freda finally says she can't keep living like this. Sam is not keen on kicking out Simon, which enraged Freda, because he is obviously choosing his brother over her. Simon tries to drown their sound by wearing headphones and playing drums. But Freda goes over to his room, yanks the headphones off his head, and yells at him for ruining her relationship with Sam. Meanwhile, Sam interferes and yells at Freda to leave his brother alone. That night, she leaves Sam for good, and Sam's efforts to stop her from leaving go in vain. Because of the commotion, Simon shuts himself in his barrel, and Sam sits beside him, consoling himself more than Simon. He tries to look at the positive aspects, and even though he's heartbroken, he can't show it to Simon, and keeps Simon engaged with the role-playing game. Sam falls asleep in Simon's room, and is woken up by a blaring alarm. He wakes Simon up, who is still in the barrel, and for the first time, things don't go as smoothly as normal. Somehow they make it up to the breakfast table, and Sam hurries while Simon bombards him with questions about Freda and when she will be back. Sam assures him she will be back, but can't say for certain when. After breakfast they get ready to leave, but for some reason Sam's bike won't start. And even though Simon can make out from Sam's expressions that he is angry, he still asks him, and as expected, Sam denies feeling any anger. Simon dislikes when people say things they don't mean. But he trusts Sam, because Sam always means what he says, and if Sam says Freda will be back, Simon is sure she will be back. Today, because he's a few minutes late for the first time, he feels as if his world is chaotic. Little does he know his world is going to get much more chaotic than this. After the day's shift, Simon returns home and finds Sam is still not home. His usual routine of switching the light on and off is also interrupted because, for some reason, the bulb is missing. After waiting 10 minutes at the table with an empty plate, Sam finally walks in, and Simon immediately asks for food. It is taco day, but Sam is not in the mood to cook. He suggests having pizza, but Simon has started to get worked up. Things get out of hand when Sam tells Simon that Freda moved out, and she will not be coming back. Simon doesn't take the news well, and gets out of control, but Sam rushes to block his way before he can shut himself in the barrel. With no way to soothe himself, Simon uses a hula hoop to engage himself, while Sam rips off Freda's chores from the routine wheel. Exhausted by how things have been for the past couple of days, Sam slumps on the bed and starts enumerating all the reasons Freda was a bad flatmate. From being pedantic, a fish paste sandwich eater, to being really bad in bed, Sam says it all, and by the time he is done bad-mouthing her, Simon is long gone. Little does anyone know that Simon, who takes things quite literally, visits Freda's home and asks her to come back, because he doesn't want pizza on a Friday. However, Freda slams the door in his face, because she is in no mood to listen to his arguments. But Simon is far from giving up and rings the doorbell again, and when this time Freda opens the door, Simon repeats all the things Sam said earlier about Freda, making Freda snap at Simon for being the reason for all this in the first place. She asserts that he needs to change, and not the world around him. She even goes on to say that he can find some other damn girl to suit his needs. Simon, being Simon, takes it literally and starts on the quest to find another girl. His goal is to find a girl who is just like Sam, and because Simon knows Sam the best, he decides to take a scientific approach. Once he's done with his research, he ventures out, taking public transportation, probably for the first time. Simon is already unimpressed because the bus is 3 minutes late, and on top of that, the bus driver just won't shut up about his gastronomical experience in the chef school. Simon soon reaches his parents' house and nonchalantly greets them while on his way to his room. Not able to comprehend what just happened, they wait for Simon to come out of his room and ask what he's doing there. Simon explains he has come for a camera, as he's on a quest to find a new girl for Sam, because Freda, who can't change, has broken up with him. Simon leaves as quickly as he comes in. His journey back to the town is no different. Only one bus runs on that route. So Simon has to hear more stories about soups and recipes. He reaches home to find Sam explaining to his mom on the phone why Freda broke up with him. Starting that day, Simon starts collecting more specific information about Sam. Until now, he has noted that Sam doesn't generate chaos, likes Simon, cooking, and black licorice, and dislikes dogs, mustard, and math. Simon realizes he needs 13 questions to find a new girl for Sam, and the girl who is able to answer all 13 questions with responses that fit will be the perfect girl for him. So the next day, Simon starts with his quest, and bumps into the same girl he slapped. The girl is not very pleased to see him, yet she tolerates him somehow. Simon decides to try his luck, and asks her if he can ask her some questions. She doesn't mind that, and Simon starts with the rapid-fire round. After only 2 questions, he has already rejected her, but before he can tell her she gets a call, and Simon analyzes her expressions and how they go from happy to sad. Once she's done talking on the phone, Simon asks if his prediction is right, and the girl diverts the conversation to the questions. Since Simon has already made a decision, he tells her blatantly that her answers are wrong before walking away. In the next few days, Simon interviews many women and a transgender woman, too, but has no luck, while Sam is still in his grieving phase. Some days later, their mother visits and brings them breakfast, but Simon is about to take a shower, so he shows up in a towel, grabs the breakfast basket, and shuts the door without inviting his mother inside. She rings the bell again and asks Simon to stay with them so Sam can get some space, but Simon asserts he is going to fix everything and slams the door shut. His mother tries one more time, but Simon is long gone. The next few days are difficult, because women have started to avoid Simon just after he approaches them. But few others give all right answers, and Simon takes their pictures after the rapid-fire round. Once Simon has collected information from 13 women, he sits through the night and compiles the list of possible girlfriends, along with their pictures in a book, and in the morning, he gives it to Sam. Sam asks what it is, and Simon explains it is a list of 13 girls who are scientifically perfect for him. But Sam puts the books aside and says it doesn't work like that. He explains that it is not about right or wrong answers, but about feelings, and adds that he is more likely to fall in love with someone who is the complete opposite. Since Simon doesn't understand, Sam takes him to the kitchen, and using magnets, he explains that the same poles of a magnet repel each other. However, opposite poles attract each other. The same is the case with humans. That night, Simon lies awake on his bed for a long time, thinking about what to do to help Sam. He ends up shortlisting the girl who always bumps into him at the intersection. The next day, Simon waits at the intersection for his watch to strike 8:55 and walks forward, only to bump into a man. Simon falls from the impact, and the man curses him before leaving in anger. Soon the girl arrives, and Simon blames her for being late. He was hoping to bump into her so they could talk. Simon is pretty forthright with her and asks if she wants to meet his brother, since they are exact opposites. The girl laughs and says she feels weird to meet his brother when she doesn't even know him. The only common aspect is that they have run into each other a few times. Simon quickly introduces himself, and the girl introduces herself as Jennifer. She extends her hand, but Simon doesn't shake it, because he doesn't like touching people. Jennifer laughs and waves her pinky at him. She finds Simon staring at her, and she asks why he's looking at her like that. Simon becomes impatient and asks if she will meet his brother. Jennifer doesn't like to be pressured like that, and she pleads with Simon to stop, because she's tired and drunk from last night's partying. She asks for some time to think, but she loses before Simon's persistence, and accompanies him to his work. There, Simon's supervisor asks Jennifer if she is Simon's guardian, since she's accompanying him, which she affirms, and the supervisor allows her to stay. While Simon and the others work, Jennifer takes a nap on a bench, and when she gets up, she asks Simon how he manages such a monotonous routine. She reveals she is hungry, but Simon reminds her there is still time for the lunch break. But Jennifer isn't taking no for an answer and asks Simon to hand over his watch, which, after some reluctance, he does. Jennifer dials it forward and declares it is lunchtime. They sit together to eat, and Simon simultaneously reads his book aloud. Curious, Jennifer asks what he is reading, and Simon tells her he's reading a chapter on time. However, Jennifer asserts that he shouldn't be hung up on time, as nothing we expect usually happens. But Simon claims he doesn't like unexpected things. Jennifer must have realized Simon doesn't do anything out of the ordinary, so she tries to introduce a new element in his life, and gives him one of her earphones to listen to the music. She wants him to experience what it is like when the world revolves around him and adapts to the music he is listening to. She plays a peppy song, and suddenly, everything she points at seems to play on the rhythm of the music. The kids playing, people cycling, the couple playing chess, the dog playing fetch, everything seems to be in sync with the music. It seems Simon is enjoying the music, until Jennifer gets too close, and Simon shoves her away from him. He matter-of-factly states she touched him. Jennifer apologizes and promises not to do it again. But for the next hour, she touches him and gets extreme reactions from Simon, even getting yeeted into the lake for trying to grab him for support. As a result, Jennifer wears Simon's work clothes while going back home, and as they're walking, Jennifer once again touches Simon while pushing him to avoid stepping on the manhole, because, according to her, stepping on a manhole is bad luck. For some time Simon is speechless, but to counter her point he says the manhole is round, and he likes things that are round. They go to Jennifer's place, and at first glance, it is too much for Simon. He can hardly focus on anything, because there are so many things. He asks questions about the things he sees, and Jennifer patiently answers. But when Simon doesn't stop, she asks him why he's asking so many questions. Simon reveals he wants to ensure that Jennifer and Sam are not compatible, and completely opposite of each other, so they can be together. The next day, Simon's supervisor calls Sam and tells him that Simon has been late all week, and today is the third day in a row that he has brought a girl along and disappeared. Sam asks about the girl, and the supervisor explains that the girl introduced herself as his guardian, and he thought she was one of Sam's girlfriends. Poor Sam explains that he has had only one girlfriend for the past 5 years, and she, too, has broken up with him. He asks for Simon, and the supervisor informs him that the reason he is calling Sam is that he doesn't know where Simon is. Sam leaves his work to visit Simon's workplace and tries to ask Jonna, but gets tackled by Peter for talking to her. He somehow manages to free himself, and with no other choice, he turns to a policeman enjoying ice cream and gives a very crisp description of how Simon looks. The policeman assures Sam he will find Simon, but Sam can't just sit around waiting. So he ventures out on his bike, shouting Simon's name at the top of his lungs, hoping Simon will hear him and show up. Meanwhile, Simon is still at Jennifer's house, completely in the dark about the time since Jennifer took his watch. She quickly takes a shower and dresses up in his favorite color clothes, red and blue, and even bakes dessert for Simon in his favorite round shape. Just when they're getting ready to eat, her doorbell rings. Jennifer had forgotten it was mini-seti, which is basically a mini-celebration they have on Wednesday before their actual celebration on Saturday. She lets her friends in and introduces them to Simon, and also adds that he can't be touched. Simon greets them with his classical "I'm Simon and I'm Asperger's" line. The friends don't mind his presence and even ask if he's Jennifer's boyfriend, which Simon immediately denies. They have brought Pictionary and tequila, and they invite him to play along. Everything is going well, and he seems to like the game, except for the tequila part, which he avoids for most of the time. But when he has to take a penalty shot, he drinks the alcohol and spits it out right away, making Jennifer's friends giggle. During this, Jennifer gets a call, and she walks outside to take it, but when she doesn't return for some time, Simon also comes out and finds her sitting alone, looking sad. But just to confirm she's sad, he asks her, because he's learned that sometimes people look sad when they're actually happy. Like the time when Sam was picked the most valuable player, his mom cried, even though she was happy. This makes Jennifer laugh a little, and Simon asks if she's happy now. Jennifer explains it is not that simple, but Simon's mind can only comprehend emotions that are either sad or happy. Jennifer opens up and says she's sad about a person who used to make her feel happy, but things changed between them. Simon suggests she needs to replace him with a new quantity, just like one has to do in an equation. When it makes Jennifer smile, Simon once again asks if she is happy or sad. Jennifer confesses that she likes it out here, and that she likes Simon. To explain things to him, she paints a picture for him where she draws a circle and shows how the highest points of the circle represent the saddest one can feel. And moving along the circumference, one can determine how mood changes from sadness to happiness, till it again reaches the highest point, indicating when one feels euphoric. By the diagram, she tries to explain the variations of emotions that one feels, which aren't limited to either happy or sad. Simon now understands that she is upset about someone who made her sad. He's happy to have found someone like her, who explains things to him. To lighten the mood, Jennifer says she only dates good-looking men, and Simon immediately takes out a picture of Sam and shows it to Jennifer. Jennifer laughs and says she can possibly meet him. But just to confirm, Simon suggests they should ask her friends if they think Sam is good-looking. Meanwhile, Sam is worried about Simon, and has been looking for him in the entire town. Confused and upset, Sam decides to visit Freda, who is not very happy to see Sam. Sam explains Simon has gone missing, and it has to do with their broken relationship. However, Freda asserts they are not together anymore, and Simon missing is not her problem. This makes Sam snap, and he alleges that Freda was looking for a reason to break up with him so she could meet new guys. But Freda shuts him up by saying he is the one in a relationship with his brother, and asks him to come back when he has a better argument to offer. Back at Jennifer's place, Jennifer and her friends are analyzing Sam's picture, and rating him on his cuteness. They overturn the picture to find a note from Sam that tells the reader about Simon's condition. He mentions his phone number so the reader can call him about Simon, and he even promises to fix what Simon has broken. The girls giggle, and this time when Jennifer says yes to meeting with Sam, Simon gets ready to go back home. When Simon finally shows up at home, Sam, looking worried, asks him where he was. Simon explains he was with Jennifer, and she is perfect for Sam. But this pulls the last straw for Sam, and he starts packing his bags, wanting some alone time. But when Simon doesn't stop talking about Jennifer and Sam dating, Sam snaps and yells at Simon for not caring about others' feelings. He adds that Simon can't even figure out when someone is upset, and asks him if he can't see how upset he is. Simon tries to stop Sam, but Sam shoves Simon away before getting on his bike and leaving to spend the night at his parents' home. Unable to bear his brother leaving, Simon has a meltdown, and soon after, he shuts himself in the barrel. After some introspection, Simon emerges and calls himself an idiot, after realizing that Sam and Jennifer are opposites, so of course they will need to be in close proximity to get together. So he still has a mission to complete. Sam gets ready, and after selling his wretched drum set, he uses the money to buy every single romantic movie showing two people falling in love. For the next couple of hours he analyzes the movies, and once he has all the data, he calls the bus driver to utilize his chef skills. He then meets up with his co-workers and prepares for the big event he's planning. He goes to his supervisor and asks for a day off for him and his co-workers so they can carry out the plan, and after shooting the bullseye thrice, he makes the supervisor give in. Next, he calls Sam to invite him to the movie night, but Sam outrightly rejects him and says he will be playing basketball instead. With no other option, Simon sends his 3 co-workers to kidnap Sam and leaves him in a park, still sacked up. He shouts for help, and Jennifer, who is there after she got a message from Simon, hears Sam. When she approaches the sack, she finds messages written on them for her. Jennifer gets excited and opens the sack, only to hear Sam yell and curse Simon for making him go through all this. But when Jennifer tells him why she's there, they end up sitting on the bench for hours waiting for Simon. However, instead of Simon, his co-workers show up, with Peter playing the violin while Bjorn gives a rose bouquet to Jennifer on Sam's behalf. The bus driver turned chef has set a table for them, with champagne and delicious-looking food. While Jennifer is enjoying every bit of the night, Sam is not so thrilled. He cuts to the chase and asks Jennifer what she wants, and why she is playing along with all this. Jennifer replies that she is doing it for Simon's sake. Since she likes Simon, Simon assured her she'll love Sam, but Sam snaps and says no one likes Simon. Jennifer disagrees, and Sam explains that he likes Simon. But the truth is Simon only cares about himself, because he has set up the date to benefit from it. Jennifer disagrees again and brings Sam's attention to the ultimate romantic movie arrangement Simon has done for them. Sam still isn't impressed, and well, even though he agrees that Simon has made an effort, it'll still take time for him to accept that he did this for Sam's sake. Jennifer thinks Sam should be more appreciative, because if Simon didn't care about him, he wouldn't have gone through so much trouble. After a brief pause, Jennifer shifts the conversation to a question, which leads Sam to open up, and henceforth, they enjoy the date like an actual date. Simon, who had hidden himself behind a tree nearby, looks satisfied by how things are looking. He lies on the bench and wonders about his new understanding of how relationships and feelings work. He's lost in thought when he senses someone standing nearby. It is Sam, who tells him that though he and Jennifer are not getting together, they have become good friends. But things get out of hand, because Simon has a meltdown again. He was hoping Sam and Jennifer would get together, but because it didn't happen, he runs to find Jennifer. He pushes Sam onto the table, ruining the setup before running away, while the grand finale of the date, the fireworks, start going off. Simon once again finds himself inside his barrel, but this time he is stuck in a meteorite shower, and as he tries to maneuver through it, he takes a hit before everything goes silent, and he hears Sam's voice. Sam sits near the barrel and tries talking to Simon. He explains that everything changes, but Simon interrupts him and says he doesn't change. He wants Jennifer and Sam to get together, because if she doesn't stay, she'll be gone, and he doesn't want her to dislike him or go away. Suddenly, he hears Jennifer's voice. She says she's still there, but it is Simon who is gone. Simon peeks and sees Jennifer pinky waving at him. He immediately shuts the lid, embarrassed to face her, but Jennifer walks closer and confesses that she likes him. Sam walks away so they can talk, and Jennifer opens the lid and asks Simon if she can hug him for the wonderful surprise he planned. He is equally surprised by his own behavior, that he didn't freak out as he would usually do, but reminds her that he doesn't like to be touched. Jennifer brings his attention to their hands, which are already touching, and for the first time, Simon smiles.